Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? I've just been looking at the pigs, so and I've just restarted the game now, so you don't actually see the next sound, and we won't for a bit. But it's the cleanliness that I'm concerned about. That's down to 17%, and I did take a walk over there, and you've got corn and stuff all over the ground in front of the trough, so we need a way to pick that up, which means that we are desperately going to need to get our front loader very soon, which brings me quite sort of pleasingly, there's a very good link there, I feel. On to the weekly question. Which loader would you like me to get? Do you want me to get this front loader, the Kramer KL30, that one right there, or do you want me to get one of the JCB skid steers? Now, I haven't decided which one, and I'm not going to put that up for a debate. That will be my personal choice. So I've got that one going on the time-lapse at the moment. So I might get this one. I know it's a bit more expensive. It will have to be rented, whichever one we get, because we don't have the money to buy it outright. However, either or, it's not really going to make any difference. I will get one of them. What is the difference with the JCBs? Where'd they go? Skid steers. That one is 20 kilometers, and that one's 20 kilometers. They are both identical, apart from tracks versus wheels. So why is tracks so much more expensive? Who knows? Anyway, it's your vote, it's your game. Head to the comment section down below and let me know which one you want. Do you want me to get the skid steer, or do you want me to get the articulated front loader? And we will need to use that in order to clear the ground in front of the trough for the pigs, and for the cows as well, once their cleanliness sort of drops below a certain level. So I finished raking up this field, and we are now going to be doing a bit of silage. We'll gather this all up. I returned the rake rather than keep it on hire, because if we do any more of this, I want a bigger rake. That one took too long. Yes, in real life it would have been just fine. I could have used that one for doing the job, but I feel really we could use something a little bit bigger for the game, and it's not actually going to hurt. In real life, I've used a rake like that. I've spent quite a few hours using one like that. I've used hay bobs, although you don't see hay bobs anymore. Nobody seems to use a hay bob anymore. It's kind of for days gone by, but no longer used. For those of you who don't know what a hay bob is basically, it's about the width of the rake that I was using in this field in the last episode. But you can use it on one set. You have all the tines. It looks more like a hay turner than one of the rakes, a lot more like a hay turner. And you have all the tines set a certain way, and you have gates on the back, and they're open wide, and it spreads the grass out nice and wide, like you would for any hay turner, so that it spreads it and does it for hay. But then you can change the tines. They've all got a different setting, so you change the angle of them, and so it changes where it sort of releases contact with the grass, and it rows it up for you. And you close the gates at the back as well. That helps keep it nice and narrow. And so you use the same tool for raking as you do for doing the tedding. So it's basically a tedder and a rake all rolled into one. And when I was growing up, it was kind of unusual to find a stock farm that needed to make hay and so on every now and then. It was unusual to find one in the UK that didn't have a hay bob. Hay bobs were like the bread and butter of every farm. If you were going to make hay, there was a hay bob involved somewhere. Everyone used a hay bob. And now, you don't see them anywhere. I don't remember the last time I seen a farmer using a hay bob out in a field. They just suddenly seemed to vanish. It was like, in the space of just a few years, everybody decided they didn't want to use a hay bob anymore. I mean, yes, they're not very wide, so the hay turners that you get now, that they unfold, they're a lot wider than a hay bob, so you get the job done a lot faster. But you've then also got to buy that machine, and you've got to buy the rake. Whereas the hay bob was marvellous because it did everything all in one. So, I mean, I guess there's still small farmers, lots of small farmers out there that use them. It's just, I've sort of noticed in the last few years that I just don't see them anymore. It's just not something you see as you going about your day-to-day life. They just don't seem to be around. I don't know why that is, but it's kind of sad in a way, because I always liked the hay bob. There was just something about setting it up, and you went off and you did your hay turning, and it was kind of almost like a little bit of excitement, changing the settings to rowing up. You're using the same machine to do the different task, and there was just something about it. It was just really fantastic. Changing it all over, and it was kind of exciting. Then it was time to row up, and it was a change. You're using the same machine, but at the same time, things were going to be vastly different. It's kind of difficult to explain, really. I guess you kind of had to be there. But anyway, right. That is obviously the unload anywhere function that we use there. Control I. Now switch that one off. So yeah, we don't seem to have any trouble. I did hear several people saying that they were having issues with being able to tip just grass in there out of the forage wagon. Doesn't seem to be any issues, and it is recognising it properly as chaff as well. Obviously we haven't tried it yet on Goldcrest Valley, but in theory it should do the same. I'm still really nervous coming across this bridge. Every time I cross this bridge, I'm just, yeah, there's something about it that just makes me sort of, well, you know when you sort of breathe in, you're like, yeah, it seems a bit rickety bombing across with a tractor and 21 tons of silage. I mean, that's how much we're carrying in this trailer. It's 21 tons, because that's what this game. It's a straight conversion. 1 litre of silage, or 1 litre of anything, is 1 kilo. So we're going across that rickety wooden bridge with this tractor. I would estimate at around 7 to 8 tons, maybe a bit more. Plus we got the trailer, the forage wagon. It's probably 5 tons in itself. And then you've got the load in the forage wagon. Well, this forage wagon has 21,300 litres, which directly translates to 21 tons. Now, in real life, I would guess it would actually be more like 7 or 8 tons. But still, that's a lot of grass. That's a lot of weight to be plonking down on a little old rickety wooden bridge like that. Makes me a bit nervous every single time. Right. I quite like this. I like the how the camera angle does kind of change a bit as you're going through the cab. It's more than it used to in the other game. The other game, you kind of just sat rigid with whatever was the tractor, but this time the tractor's moving around you more than it used to. So it's more realistic in that this is how your head would actually move in real life. So your head would kind of stay still, whereas the machine would move around more. So it's quite a nice little touch to it, I think. Now, I realise that I'm going to be leaving little bits on the headlands and that, but we'll probably come through and mow this field again sometime soon. So when we do, and we use a bigger rake, I'm hoping that we'll sort of gather things up a little bit more tidily. I didn't actually look to see how much the bigger rake was. We did look at the other mower, and that one was twice as much to rent as the pottinger one. There's a bit. There's one line there. We got this kind of big hump on this end of the field, just here, and then the rest of it is fine. You've got a little meadow over there, which is not quite as big as this meadow, and we'll do some in that one as well. I reckon 3 loads and we'll be full, so we might actually have to go and do a bit more silage in order to fill up the clamp, because the corn, we're going to need to keep that corn as corn, I think, because that's the pig's staple diet. We've got a little bit left in the silos, but obviously we're going to want to get more pigs, so we are going to have to be looking at harvesting that as actual corn and not as oh, he's nearly full. There we go. Right, let's take this next load back. Yeah, we're going to have to be looking at the... What was I going to say? Yeah, the corn is going to be corn, not maize silage. So I think I was originally planning to do it as maize silage, but now, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. And the other grain, we're going to want that for the pigs as well. You know, I think really we need another field. We'll take this back. We'll take the next one back. If we can clamp it down, ideal, we'll clamp it, because we won't be doing the maize as silage. That's going to be done as harvested corn. I really should zoom in a bit closer when I'm going there. I'm going through the trees blind, turning a bit to go onto that bridge. Has anyone ever driven off the side of that bridge with a trailer or anything? There must be plenty of people who've done it. I haven't yet, but then this is the first time I've ever played this map. Before this came out, I've never been on this map before. So anybody that has played this map before, have you driven off of that bridge? Right, this is a bit bumpy here. Right, we're at 7%. Oh no, that's compaction. I don't know what percentage of chaff you need in order to be able to clamp this stuff down. We've got a nice line of silage coming out, and we'll get our we'll get a leveler, put that on the front of this tractor and use that, so that should help smooth things off a little bit. Seems to be quite a bit in there. We want to get another load of... Right, let's go back to the field now and we'll get another load of silage. All clear both ways. I'm sort of studying this map as I drive along. Not the best way of doing things, admittedly, but still, that's what I'm doing. And I'm thinking that if we do a couple of contracting jobs for Field 20 and Field 15, which is over near our farm over there, we could buy them fairly cheap and just about double the amount of land that we own. It's not going to be a massive increase, but it'd certainly be enough to sort of keep us going for a little bit. I don't know what the fields are over there, and normally the contracting jobs aren't too bad. It does seem to be reasonable. The harvesting ones are the ones that take a long time. But it does look like the land around us changes as well. You're not just stuck with it. Let's come out of cab now, shall we? Like that field there, I'm 99% certain that when we brought the pigs over previously, that field was corn. It was, no, it was wheat. Wheat or barley in that field, I'm sure of it. And it's not anymore, it's all been harvested. So it would appear that as time goes on, the fields actually change as well. It's not just us that changes and the other fields just stay the same. They appear to be changing as well. So it's kind of like a dynamic changing scenery as you go by. If this is the case, if I'm not mistaken, I could be horribly mistaken. I could have got that completely wrong. But if I'm not mistaken, if that is right, that is absolutely fantastic. I love that idea. I really do. Also, that means, if you have a look here, Field 23 is a fair-sized field, really, isn't it? That's the one that's right below our farm. You look at 14 and 19 there, just below where our farm is. In the middle on the right-hand side. So we're looking at possibly 15 and 20 because they're smaller fields. But Field 23 at the moment is grain. I'm wondering if we could buy that one. Well, no, go and contract that one, and we could do some combining up and down there. What combine would they give? If they gave us a really big combine, we could probably do it in a reasonable amount of time and get a big slice of money for it as well. And that would go a long way towards being able to buy a front loader rather than having to rent one. I don't know. That might be worth considering. We'll have a look at that once we finish our silage. In our, it will probably be our next episode, actually, to be fair. We'll take a look and we'll see what the option is for Field 23, because that is right adjacent to our farm. So it would be quite handy having that field. But if that one seems like it's going to take a bit too much for, doing the contracting and eventually buying, then we'll look at doing Field 20 and Field 15 and getting some prices reduced on those. Because I'm also interested to see if you get the fields for free. If you do enough work in them, will they just sort of let you have it for like a token of 500 euros or something like that? So there's a few things that we want to sort of investigate on this, I think. There's many possibilities, much potential here to be had. So I will take this load back to the farm now, and then I will come back and I'll just gather up all the little loose bits that are lying around. We've got a couple of rows of grass up there. I'll get that as well, take it back, and then we can see about levelling out our silage clamp. Right, here's the full load going in, and we're at 48,000 in here at the moment. That's pretty good, I'd say. But does it put it in the middle, or does it just tip it right behind where you are? It tips it right behind where you are. If we travel up through here... Right, another load. So we've got 70,000 litres of chaff in here at the moment. With the little bit extra that we're going to get, it's probably not even going to be half a load. So between 75 and 80,000 litres of chaff we're going to end up with. And Actually, that's not bad. That'll keep us going for quite a while, I should think. There's enough there for silage, and hopefully we can make a little bit of mixed ration with that as well. Although we're going to need straw for that. We've got a field that is planted, and we will be able to get a bit of straw from it. We've just got to, see about hiring a combine to actually harvest the stuff. Just on my way back and looking at the next animal rates, we'll get another cow in 290 hours, but we'll get another pig in an hour's time. Because, pigs, that's what you get from them. That's how you make your money, is by getting extra pigs and selling them. So I'm assuming that the more pigs you have, the faster the reproduction rate is. But I'm assuming that's the same with all of them. So with cattle, obviously milk is the primary money earner from them, but you can also get extra animals that you could sell off if you wanted to. We do need to put silage, so we put silage or hay in for them. That's 50% base food, silage or hay. So that's why their productivity is so low at the moment. They need silage or hay, one or the other. It's got to be put in for them. We've got grass in there, we've got straw, and we've got water. The pigs have all got the same as well, so we're doing well for those. I was saying earlier we need straw. We don't need straw at all. We've got masses of it stockpiled in a shed. So that's one thing that we don't need to worry about, is straw. What we are going to need to worry about is getting a loader bucket very soon, so that we can clean up the animals, because they're a bit messy at the moment. That's the one thing that we are going to want. Let me just empty out this one. There we go. Right, why are you saying that you've got 5 in you? I guess it... No. Okay, that's just being weird. It's saying 5, so it's got a little tiny bit of grass in it. But it's not allowing me to tip it out. Let's just swing round a minute. And see what it's doing. Unload here. It should allow me to unload it. Oh, it's thinking about it. I'll tell you what, let's start the forager. Lower it down, and we'll pick a little bit of this up, and then we'll just tip it out again. Oh, it's not letting us pick it up. It did previously, remember? But it's not letting us do it now. So, for whatever reason, it's decided that it wants to keep 5 litres of grass in there. And we can't open it. We can't sell it. Can't tip it out. Can you let me tip it? I might have to tip it out here, outside of the... Yeah, there we go. Right, it allowed me to put it there, so we got just a little tiny bit on the ground in front of it. That's fine, we'll leave it there. The next thing that we want to get is the leveler. Now, I suppose we could just run back and forth over the pit, but I kind of like to see one of these in action. That's 8,000 and that's 6,000. I'm assuming that they sort of, maybe they fill up or something. I don't know. I've never used one of these. I've never seen one being used before, so I don't really know much about it. I'd like to just use one just for that reason, more than anything else. I don't really know what it's about. Right, let's unhitch that one there. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my forage wagon, but it's behaving in a odd fashion. It's not supposed to... Okay, it looks like we're looks like we're a little bit bugged. Not really sure what's going on with that. I've not seen that before, I gotta be honest. Right, I'm going to nudge this one back a bit. I might actually have to save and exit the game. Maybe it's... I'm hoping it's just that forage wagon. There's something gone a little bit amiss with it there. Let's just try shunting it around a bit. We might have to just give up and return the lease on that one. Right, the wheels come out of the ground now. So that's a start. Now, obviously, you do get these game-breaking glitches and so on every now and then. That's fine. Every game glitches. Oh, there we go. We're out of the ground. Right, hopefully, I can now hitch that back on and it will behave in a normal fashion. It might be there's something right there on that little bit of ground in the shed that's causing it to do it. Be a glitch somewhere, who knows. The glitches always sort of, I think they sort of make the game a little bit more entertaining at times. It's working fine now, so it's come out of the... So whatever was causing it, it's not doing it at the moment. Let's just try unhitching a second. It might be because we had that one down. Did we have it down or not? I don't know. Right there, now it's come off just fine now. It's perfect. Right, I will go and get a leveler. Well, I have the leveler. I've stuck it on the front of the tractor for now. And there is an option when you lease it or buy it to have for either 3-point linkage or for front loader attachment. So you can use it on either. Now, what I'm a little bit curious about is it doesn't seem to have an option to lift it up and down. I would have thought that you could do that. You can unfold it like that. But there doesn't seem to be anything else. There doesn't seem to be a way to lift it up and down, so I'm wondering if maybe it's supposed to be used on the back of the tractor. I wouldn't have thought so, though. It doesn't seem normal that you would use it on the rear of a tractor. This seems like something you'd use on the front. Let's have a look at it. It is sort of picking stuff up. So what's it do? You push it forward. Does it release the silage, or does it just hold it in a great big heap? Well, that's saying that it's got 5. Just says 5. It doesn't say anything else. Fold leveler. Detach. So yeah, I'm not really sure what this thing is supposed to do. How do you release it? Should I do it folded up? That doesn't seem to do much. I'll tell you what, I'm going to detach it and put it onto the back of the tractor now. Okay. Perhaps I should have folded it up first, I think. So let's do that. Let's fold it up properly. So I want to fold it. And yeah, it doesn't look to be a lot of options with it. So maybe it is supposed to be done on the back of the tractor. I would have thought that something like this, though, would be better on the front of the tractor. So then you're like pushing it forwards. I really don't know. I've never used one before. I've never seen them in real life, ever. I've seen a buck rake on the back of a tractor, and I'm assuming it's kind of the same principle, really, but a buck rake is kind of a bit different. It is like tines and everything, so yeah. This has got me a little bit perplexed. What does it do? What are we supposed to be doing with this thing? It seems to have loaded itself with 5 litres of grass, but then after that, I don't really know. Could it be that we got a little bit of bug because of the trailer? Right, so now we've got cruise controls, change tool selection, unfold the leveler. Oh, it's a mouse button. Ah, silly Frith. Yeah, I didn't look at the top. There's a mouse button there. Yeah, I know. You're probably all screaming at me now. Right, so we have a mouse button that you can use to, like, shunt stuff around, but it doesn't seem to be doing any leveling anyway. How are we supposed to use this? Is that... So how do I use it? So I pick it up like... Ah, I see. It picks up like that. And then you can do it the other way as well to, like, pick that up. But... Fold... How do I tip it out? I'll do it like that. It's got 5 on it, and I want to try and scrape that off. I don't think it should have chaff on it. Right, let's push it down. And what does that do? Doesn't seem to be levelling a lot. Right, so at least we know that we're supposed to be doing something with the mouse. So let's, oh no, I want to leave the help up there so I can see what it's doing. Now that I don't know, it feels to me like something isn't quite right with it. It's what it feels like. It feels like there's something not working quite as intended here. If I tip that over like that, I mean, it's still compacting. I'm getting the compaction thing climbing. But as for spreading out, it just doesn't seem to be doing anything at all. So, yeah. Up and down does that way, and then side to side does it like that. I got a feeling it's not quite working as it should. I'm going to flatten this out now because we are rapidly approaching the end of the episode. So I'm just going to drive back and forth and maybe play around with this a bit more and see if I can do anything with it. And should I try changing it round again? Let's just try that a second. Okay, I found out what the problem was. I had that little tiny bit of grass that was stuck in the... I just realised it's chaff now. It was grass. It was that little tiny bit of grass that was stuck on the floor that we couldn't get out of the forage wagon. That's what was causing the problem. Now look at it. I'm shunting this stuff around, and it's working a treat. It is bulldozing it round like it should. It's levelling it off. This is fantastic. It's actually working really well as well. Okay, so that was our problem. We had that slight little bug where that little bit of grass ended up being tipped. I've dumped it at the end of the silage clamp, and now it's just fine. This is working beautifully. I really like this. So yeah, we've got a little tiny bit of grass on the ground down the other end of the clamp. That's just fine. I can stay there. That's caused me enough issues. I'll see if I can put it in for the cows at some point. Maybe when we get our front loader. So yeah, I'll just move along like this, keeping it nice and level, and you can fill it up and you can empty it. So I'm just going to lift this thing right up into the air like that, and then back over this little bit of chaff. So if you put that behind you like that, it levels it out a bit as well. And then of course you get stuck on the wall. That was always the case. You always get stuck on the walls with these things. Let's lift it up. I think this would actually be a bit easier to put onto a on a front loader, to be honest, because I've just got massive, great big lumps of silage going everywhere here now. Right, I will flatten it down. Okay, I'm actually quite impressed with the dynamics of rolling the silage pit. It actually works like a real silage pit. You've got to move the silage around and put it up into a heap and then roll it flat. It works really well. I was really impressed with that. I didn't have time to sort of show you a lot with the leveler, but we will be doing more with that in the future. So yeah, basically you just get the thing onto the ground and away you go with it. Now, can we... oh yes, we should be able to blanket. Yes. And it blankets exactly what you've got there as well. So we've just got this little tiny bit blanketed, and you can fill this hole. Apparently you can put like you can put about 4 million units into the clamp. So that is absolutely fantastic. All in all, once we figured out what the issue was, so we had a tiny little bit of grass on there, and that's what stopped it from working. But overall, I was quite pleased with that. I was quite impressed with it. And we will be able to get some silage in for our cows as soon as the silage is ready, which means that they'll be able to drastically improve their feed value. Now, can we... right, so hang on. My weekly question, which do you want me to get? Do you want me to get the Kramer front loader, or do you want me to get one of the JCB skid steers? It's your vote. It's your game. Head to the comment section down below and let me know which one you would like. Before I go... it looks like you can move anything you want with a leveler. So at the beginning of our next episode, we are going to go up to the pigs because they are on 13% cleanliness. We need to clean up their feeding area, and I want to take a trailer with some probably sunflowers in it, to be honest, because the soybeans and the canola I think is worth a bit more than the other two. The soybeans seem to be worth quite a bit. Oh, actually, so do the sunflowers. And the canola's worth... actually, the canola's worth less than sunflowers and soybeans. So maybe we'll give the canola that we've got to the pigs, and we'll see about selling some of this and make a bit of money out of it, because we could do with a little bit more money right now. So anyway, that's all in the next episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please head down below and give me a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.